Hello snowboarders of the internet, I'm your host Avran LeFeber, and in this video we're going to be reviewing the Union Atlas. I rode this binding at Copper Mountain on a sunny bluebird day with light winds, slightly average temps. You had chop, chunder, perfect hero snow, basically good conditions, and I rode it with my Ride Shadow Band snowboard and my K2 Thraxis boots. Alright, so binding adjustability. You have a push pin system for the toe strap, which means push down, slide back, pull up, or slide forward and pull up. That will lock it in so you can center it over the toe of the boot. The heel cup is on a set screw, so you have two screws on the side. That's going to dial that heel cup in. You can slide it in, slide it out. The foot ramp has three places for you to lock it in underneath your boot. So basically between the heel cup and the foot pad, you can basically center that boot on the binding. With the heel strap, it is tied through to the high back, so the high back rotation and the heel strap set screw are linked together. Just be aware of that. You have a forward lean dial on the high back, which takes a little more effort of spinning it just to get that dialed in. So if you're hoping to do that on the fly, you're gonna spend a little bit more time. And finally, the straps have a twist cam system. So basically flip it up, untwist it, slide the strap up or down how you want it centered on your boot, then tighten it right back in and you will be good to go. With the straps, you got a few things going on. The toe strap is a very minimal cutout and it's rubber. It has a ton of give to it. You need to let it break in before it will fully grip. I noticed that right away out the box. It took a couple laps before it started to break in. I do think that this fits better on a pointy tip boot versus a really blunt shaped boot, unless you're going over the top with it. Just things to be aware. Otherwise, it worked well. It did what it needed to do. The heel strap is Union's ExoFrame 3.0. This is not going to provide you any padding. That's going to come from the boot, but what this is going to do is contour across the instep and give you a little bit more stiffness as it tightens down. You're going to notice that just because of the aux shape in there and how it actually works. This strap works, it works well. I didn't have any issues with it. It is a little bit more rigid. The toe strap has a little more give in the middle of it, and that ExoFrame around it does provide some stiffness. With the ratchets, they climbed well. I like that. You could get good torque and really just crank them over. They stayed locked down. I never had them prematurely released. The one finger quick tab, in my opinion, could be a little bit longer. It's just very short, so you end up almost grabbing the ratchet from the front to release it. Not a problem, just something that I noticed. Overall, they did their job and they did their job well. This is a pretty thin high back and you do get a little more give on the outside than the inside. You notice that there isn't a ton of padding to it, but when you drive back, you can feel that it gets a little more rigid towards the bottom so that when you drive into a heel side turn, you're getting power out of it. I kind of actually like the way that these feel. You do have a forward lean dial, and that takes a little bit more to just get it set the way you want, so be prepared to spend a little more time dialing in your forward lean. If you're hoping to do that on the fly, like I don't know why you're dialing your forward lean in the middle of the day, but some people for some reason claim that they do. I don't believe them. You're not going to be able to do that with this. Overall, high back's got power where you want it and a little bit of flex where you need it. This is a stiffer binding, but not so much that it's like a bear trap on your foot. It's just a little more stiff. You got a good power transmission through the high back down at the bottom of it. You can really feel that. The straps are a little more rigid, so you're not pushing through them. And it does have a bigger disc to it, so you don't get as much lateral play, but you do get more lateral drive out of it. What I like about this binding is that it firmly sits in the all mountain freeride category, but it's not so stiff that you can't go hit the park or play around with it. With the ride of this binding, it felt damper than the previous versions of this that I've ridden, which was nice because it did help absorb some of that micro chatter in there. It is livelier than other bindings in this category, so you got to be aware of that. But it's not one of those bindings where you're just going to feel everything coming up underfoot, which I think is absolutely good when you put it into the all-mountain freeride category. Who's this binding for? The Union fanboy that wants a little power and drive and a lively binding. I didn't hate this binding, which says a lot because I really did not like the previous versions of the Atlas. This actually rode better in my opinion, just felt a little more smooth. It's still lively. It wouldn't be my go-to from Union, that would probably be the Force, But what you get with this binding is good power distribution, a good amount of dampening for very micro vibrations. You will feel the bigger ones, and you get some solid adjustability with it. Comparable bindings: the Ride A9, the Rome Cleaver, the Bent Metal Core Pro. This has been my review of the Union Atlas. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you own a pair? Are you going to buy a pair? Leave me a comment down below. Let's have a conversation about this binding. If you're new here, remember to subscribe, click the bell, get those notifications. That way you're not missing any of the videos we got coming out for all you snowboarders of the internet. And if you really like what we're doing over here and you want to support us further, swing on over to Angry Snowboarder VIP and become a member. Sure, I could tell you more here, but I got a video over there that explains it so much better. As always, I've been your host, Avran LeFeber, and I'll see you in another video.